have an all-sky camera. So when you're doing astronomy, one of the important things you need to keep an eye on is the weather. So if you're remotely observing, of course, you don't know what the weather is, so we provide an all-sky camera. So at the moment it's showing that in southern there's nice clear blue skies and a very bright sun in the sky. But at night time that camera turns into nighttime mode and displays the nighttime sky. And one of the neat things about this remote operations center is we project a live view of the night sky onto our ceiling. So that when you're working here, if you want to know what the conditions are in Solomon right now, you can just look up. Or if you want to take a break, you can relax on the sofa and do a bit of stargazing from here. So that's the two unique things about this. I don't think you'll see that anywhere else in the world. Perhaps people will start replicating our idea. So just to finish, we can't of course finish without mentioning the Southern African Large Telescope. This is one of the largest optical telescopes in the world and the largest one in the Southern Hemisphere. We maintain and operate this telescope. NRF is and we're in partnership with several other international facilities. But to continue talking about the Southern African Large Telescope, I'd like to hand over to Dr. Romero. She's the director of SALT, and she has the SALT remote operations desk set up for you there. That, if you like, you can have a look.
So you're very welcome to come and point the telescope. Over there is the display of the telescope inside. This is a live camera. There'll be a little bit of a delay. There hopefully will be sound, and there will be. You will see it move on the camera over there when you press the button. There'll just be a little bit of a delay, and that's not due to the speed of light. That's still the same. That's just our system just goes a little bit slower. Okay. So please, when you're ready, hopefully this is going to work.
And the joystick then is
No, just the button. So it's this button here with the mouse. So maybe by clicking on that way to touch the button. So if you would like to point,
So
just a normal click.
just click
Yes.
on the left.
Yeah, normal. Yeah. And now that this is going green, so the command is going. You can see here that it's all green. So that's moving lifting the telescope. Now the dome is moving on the screen. So you can see that's the opening. Currently it's closed. Even though it's closed, the telescope doesn't know. There's still stars in the sky, so we can still point. It's just we cannot see them because it's daytime. We cannot open the telescope because daytime is the sun is a little bit too bright and tends to burn our stuff. So we'd rather keep it safe. But you can see that's the opening of the dome. It slides at night, and then you can look out with the telescope. So the telescope structure lifts up and rotates to follow where the dome is going, and then go down. And right at the top, because this telescope is fixed in altitude, so it's fixed in this angle. So as the Earth rotates, the stars appear to rotate. Then we need to follow them at the top with the tracker. So you can see the little tracker at the top that follows the telescope.
So where is that? Is it here?
This is in Sutherland. You're just moving the telescope in Sutherland. Yes. So this is in Sutherland.
Wow.
Okay. And you just point it to a star in the sky.
Okay. So now that, as it does that, the data.
So at the moment it's pointing. So once it's settled and the tracker reaches its position, then we start taking data. At the moment it's just getting ready to follow the star as it moves in the sky. And if it was open and it's nighttime, we would then start taking data for the astronomy project.
And then it would be fed through to the computer here where the sun is sitting and can check the data and make sure that everything worked well and start ready about the object you're moving.
And the following day, the data is sent to the people that requested it. So in the morning, it's ready for them to work with it.
So computer capacity for purposes of capturing.
Yeah. So we have enough capacity and yeah, we can managed pretty well in Sutherland with the computer.
And will the radio telescope, the SKA, work on the same principles of that you be able to derive on this one?
They can also control it remotely from
Yeah.
a remote room here.
Yeah. Because it's set to Manchester.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need to keep moving. So
Yes.
Wait, I think it's
just stop now. You can stop.
Before we move, we are going to the next facility, which is the center. And from the center, we'll then go to the main event, which is in the marquee. So we'll Zoom with the person who's meeting us, so that we just make sure we move neatly. It's going to be a bit of a work, but please just allow Zoom to always be in front. So just to repeat so that we're clear, our next venue is the center, from the center to the marquee, and then we do the main event. Thank you so much, Minister.
But we mustn't walk slow, we must be fast.
Yeah, I always walk fast.
Yes. Yes. Well, you should have said we must wait and wait for us, but we mustn't walk slow. We must be fast. You can walk faster. Faster than when I want to change this out of the blue. The second one.
Okay. And then
The second one.
and when I come
Yes, we have coffee. Yeah. No. It looks like the whole hall. It's fine with the picture. Now we should change. Hello. How are you? Ah.
What's a pool? Yes. I remember pointing at her and ngingamazi ukuthi wakabani. Ngithi akezela phambili. Mangithi akasintroduce uManzimande. Oh, so good Ntombazana. Nonke nibalulekile. Alright. Noma ningabona abakanzimande nansi anti Mlembele. Yes. Yeah. It's quite a done in corn. Yeah, no, funny for example.
All right, we are here to officially open the SAAO Visitor Centre. I'd like to ask the ministers to please unveil the plaque.
Get the CEO to kindly just read for us what's written there. NRF SAAO Cape Town Visitor Center, officially opened by the Honorable Professor Nzimande, MP, Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, today on the 9th of July 2025. Thank you, Minister.
And then we'll cut the ribbon and make our way inside.
Can be that side. I want us on that side. That side, please. Please. Thank you. No.
It's all right.
Would you mind?
We do the same.
One moment, let's just make sure our media is ready so that they capture the moment. It's very important. Yeah, we will do the countdown. Where's our DSTI camera? Is it here? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, we do the countdown again to help us keep warm. From 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Here we are.
Thank you.
We are now going to hand over to the colleagues. They are going to orientate the minister and deputy ministers internally. They have a few presentations to share with you internally, so we will hand over to them. And like we said, once we are done with the presentations inside, we then go to the main vein. We now hand over to the...
How many minutes we need to spend here? Because we have to manage time for the main program.
10 minutes. 10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes, not more than 10 minutes. We are in your hands again.
Okay, we would like to start on this side. We'll tell you a bit more about our visitor centre.
So above you there is the reimagined Cape Town night sky as it appeared in the year 1874, as defined by two person storytellers, Tassi and Diapan. So they were asked to share their cultural interpretations of the night sky And then they pointed out constellations in an animal forms. So constellations, according to astronomy, is a group of stars. So they pointed out constellations of which many you can see from the ceiling. Yes.
For this,
Yes, please.
For example, we have what we refer to as the Orion star. Here, they refer to it as the Springbok star. And then we have what we refer to as Betelgeuse. They call it the tortoise star.
Yes.
For more information, you can browse on this panel. And then we have this small stones. So these are for our visual impaired guests as a show of how we are so inclusive in the organization.
Oh, that's very cool.
And then if we move on to this structure here, which is known as Bahen. Bahen was known as the god or creator of the Torah-speaking people. What you see him trying to create here is the star, the Betelgeuse. And again, for more information on Bahen, you can browse through that.
We are now heading over to our son, to Gideon.
So the summary is relatively small. I think it'll just be the group with the ministers, and then we'll have an opportunity for others to have a look afterwards. Oh.
Oh, no, with you. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. This is Nzimande. He's one of our students here this year. Sorry.
Honourable Minister, distinguished guests, welcome to the sunroom. What you are seeing here is a depiction of the photosphere of our sun as it is at this very moment. It's using this very special telescope that looks specifically at the sun. Over here, it is projecting the spectrum, the light spectrum of our sun. And the spectrum is when you pass light through a diffraction grating, and then it makes this little rainbow, and through that we can identify what the stars are made of. The photosphere of the sun is around 5,500 degrees Kelvin. And this little spot over here, if I can move it a little bit, you'll see this little spot over there is a little bit darker than the rest of the photosphere. And that little spot there, we call them collectively sunspots, because they are around 1,000 degrees less hot than the rest of the photosphere. And that is the points where the magnetic fields are penetrating through the photosphere. Thank you so much.
Now, unless you would like to ask questions about the sun, we can move to the other room on the other side.
You just missed the sun is very cool.
Leave the sun.
Looking at this side, we have our two tablets showing the Southern African Large Telescope, which is a visual tour, and you can find it in Sutherland. And then on this side is the 1 meter telescope, which is also in Sutherland. And then in the middle display, we have our Astro quiz, which is normally fun for our guests because it's a guessing game and it has a lot of astronomical knowledge. So if some of you want to try, you can try it, and then others can proceed to the side.
Where's Professor?
It's safe. It's safer for Minister to leave because she's for tourism.
Fun. No one knows what's the information here.
Okay,
Do you want to try?
If it's wrong, it's okay. I can't get it wrong. All right, so what do I do now?
In which country are there NGS gamma ray telescopes? Yes, South Africa, yes, Botswana. Namibia. Namibia. Okay.
Don't give them many savings.
Okay, if we could just move through. If we could move through.
These are the images taken by satellite from space. They are showing ultraviolet, as you have heard about the sun and the scenario. And then I will take you through our amazing artwork over here. What makes it so special? This is artwork of the Milky Way, galaxy Milky Way.
The Milky Way.
Yes. So what you see over here, what makes it so important is because it is made of a black fabric and it is handpoked to represent what you see over here. These white are the handpoked parts that represent the stars of the Milky Way. And behind it, there is a white line showing the stars, and it also shows up the nice view of our night sky. So
So are all these stars?
yes.
Is that the Milky Way?
There's the Milky Way, yes.
So, if you may allow me to take you to our holographic exhibit. Here you will see a video of our telescope, which is Southern African Large Telescope. It is situated in Serralet, and over here you will see the image of our Solarius, and over here you will see an image of our 3D. It is in 3D. And the last part is the UV exit where the vision talk.
Oh, yes.
So right now we're heading over my colleague here, which is from our department of instrumentation. So over to you.
Honourable Minister, yes. I wanted to show you something very simple today. We have a lot of pretty astronomical pictures around us, but there is technology that makes those images happen. And here at the observatory, in addition to the astronomers, we have engineers, technicians, technologists who build those instruments that capture the stars and capture the images you see around you. So I work in that division, and I wanted to show you our core piece of technology. I want to make it clear we don't build this, but we build around it. This is a charge-coupled device. It is the core of all the images, the technology that takes the images. It is a piece of silicon. It's a simple piece of silicon. When you hit it with light, it spits electrons out the back. This is why we have solar panels as well. We just use it to capture starlight. Everything we do here, we design around keeping it cold, minus 120 degrees. We need to keep it safe. We need to keep the data flowing. And we need to keep it still and in position to within 5,000ths of a millimeter. And that is the design and building and manufacturing that we do here also at the observatory. This is a magic little device. I've got my display gloves on. So everything we do is building around this and getting this into the starlight. Yeah. Cold, safe, and in position. I will hand you over to my colleague.
our TV wall over here. I have a video showing our beautiful plateau in Sutherland and the night sky above it. As you know, here in Cape Town, we suffer quite a lot of light pollution. This makes seeing the night sky quite difficult, right? So in order to see it as the way our ancestors did, we need to go to the beautiful plateau in Sutherland, and this is some of the views that we end up getting from there. So although you might see some telescopes here on site, unfortunately no, none of them are able in science because of the light pollution. Right? All of our science telescopes are in Sutherland. Right? Behind me over here, I have an example of the type of science we do, right? Now I know astronomical images are beautiful to look at. There's not much science you can get from a pretty image, right? To understand what makes these objects the way they are, we have to do specific types of science that we call spectroscopy and photometry and all of these hardcore sciences that don't necessarily produce a beautiful picture. Most of the time it's a squiggly line on the graph, a squiggly line graph, but that is where we get all of our science data from, right? There's only so much information that we can glean from a pretty picture. Honorable Ministers, let me take you down to our salt corner. Now, SALT is our premier optical telescope here in the south, right? For now, I will still call SALT being of the south, but in a few years' time, it might be overtaken. But as it stands, it is the single largest optical telescope in the southern hemisphere. Now, the main thing that stands out about SALT is that it is not just one giant mirror, right? SALT is what we call a segmented mirror array. So here on the wall, I have 4 replicas of SALT's mirrors, right? In reality, the telescope array has a total of 91 of these mirrors, right? And they all align themselves down to what we call the micron, which is very, very small, right? And together they create one giant, what we call spherical surface. Okay, ministers? Spherical what? Spherical surface, spherical mirror. Right, thank you so much, ministers. I hope you have enjoyed our little tour here.
Please come back. Yeah, we have our model of salt here as well. Unfortunately, it's a bit rushed today, but we just wanted to give you a taste of the different
Please.
Now we'll make our way back up to
Unfortunately, the board meeting is now set.
I won't even go to you because
Yeah, he will sort it out. Yeah.
My dad is there now.
Which way are we going? Oh, this way. All right.
But you live in the very house when you coming. I just took Can you lead us?
Can I come? Can I leave?
ask for a picture. It's very nice. It's like a second. Yeah, I'll ask for the picture, but I know it's gonna be after the not the dinner, just after the formal session. We will look at it, but it's a very nice building to do the keep going. I'm just worried about time. My crash, the robot yakhe abantwana
company AI. Oh, nice. You see, these are the examples. These are the examples. Yes. Bayifundise nesixhosa le robot.
Bathi nje bathi beqedile Afrikaans sebefundisa for
the translation it's easy ke ngoku.
Yeah.
Babu, usibekele indawo zohlala mfondini.
She's my size.
They'll give us a signal. Yeah, they don't do them.
Oh, yeah.
One. So it's not announced. They don't just sit there. It did.
Can you all rise and sing the national anthem, please? Thank you. Thank you. Let us settle down. Ladies and gentlemen, Bandabami, my name is Nzimande. I'm going to be your program director for this afternoon. I would like to greet the Minister, Professor Nzimande, and Minister Delil. I can see she has left. The Deputy Minister Gina, the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, Ms. Shibiti, and members of the honorable members of the Portfolio Committee, all present, the leadership of the various entities, in particular the National Research Foundation, and the Managing Director, Professor Skelton, and your team at SAAO. Ladies and gentlemen, please feel free, feel welcome rather. It is a great pleasure for me to welcome everyone to this outreach program, as well as the launch of the SAAO Visitor Center and Remote Operations Center, which some of us have witnessed. And I hope those who were in the marquee also enjoyed themselves. So let me particularly thank the choir and all the participants that have entertained colleagues. Let me invite the CEO of the NRF, Dr. Nomalungelo, to welcome all of us.
Thank you very much, DJ. Honorable Minister, Prof. Nzimande, Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, the Honorable GM, Dr. Nomalungelo, Gina, who is the Deputy Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Science, Technology and Innovation, Honorable Jibiti, Dr. Shamila Chetia, who is representing Honorable Patricia Delin, who is the Minister of Tourism, who was with us but has just left. Let me once again recognize the DSTI Director General, Dr. Mulungi Stele, and the whole DSTI senior leadership team and staff, chairpersons, board members, and CEOs of the entities of the DSTI who are represented here, NRF executive leadership, NRF staff, partners, donors, our very special guests, the learners, the educators, and the media representatives. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to all of you. It is with tremendous pride that I welcome all of you to this event today. Some of you will know that the NRF's statutory duty is to invest in and steward national research infrastructure for maximum knowledge, innovation, and societal impact. Therefore, launching the Remote Operations Center and the Cape Town Visitor Center converts world-class astronomy assets into wider public benefits. And this includes the benefits of education, tourist attractions, provision of high-skilled jobs, among others. And this is the exact impact that has been envisioned in the NRF Vision 2030, which says we want to strive for the research for a better society. I'm not here to give you a lot of speech, I'm just here to welcome you, but I want to just give you a sense that this November, in the next few months, one of our flagship projects, the Southern Africa Large Telescope, commonly known as SORS, will be 20 years old, and we will invite you again to join us in the celebrations for this big milestone in astronomy. One of the key issues that we deal with is the issue of transformation in the public domain. And we are very proud to indicate that the students that we support in the postgraduate space, at this particular stage, we're talking to close to 80% or 72% of the people being people who come from the designated groups. But you'll hear more about this as the day proceeds. Of course, our success to this point would not have been possible without the strong and constant support of the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation. We are also grateful to those who have partnered with us in this journey over the many years. I would like to single out the Department of Tourism for the capital funding and the policy making, among many other things, who have been with the Department of Tourism on this journey for a while. I want to also thank the Western Cape government and the City of Cape Town for the infrastructure support. I wish to also acknowledge all the international shareholders of the hosted telescopes and the collaborators who partner with us on the telescopes that we have in Sutherland. Esteemed colleagues, I also want to take a moment to salute the multidisciplinary project team, the engineers, the educators, the designers who turned vision into legacy that will benefit many, many generations to come.
To the learners, are you here? I'm very encouraged by the number of learners who represent various schools who are here today. Your curiosity is South Africa's future's competitive edge. May your participation in today's event convince you that the universe and a career in science is open to you. I want to end by just inviting all of you to engage with all the exhibits from the NRF facilities and to talk to the scientists, to talk to the astronomers, so that you can see how science can open doors for you. So colleagues, I just want to say thank you for coming, and you're all welcome. I thank you.
Thank you very much, CEO. So let me also acknowledge the school principals and school representatives and the learners who are our special guests for gracing our occasion. May I now invite Professor Skelton, who's our host, to welcome us.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Honorable Professor Nzimande, Honorable Deputy Minister Gina, Honorable Chair of the Portfolio Committee, Mr. Viti, DST Director General, DSTI Senior Leadership and Staff, CEO of the NRF, Dr. Nomalungelo, all of the SAAO staff and the staff from the other NRF facilities, the learners who are with us here today, educators, media. It's really wonderful to have you all here in our space at the South African Astronomical Observatory. So I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to you. If I think back to my childhood when I was staring up at the night sky and trying to understand what it was that I was seeing out there, I could never have imagined that I would be standing here in this position welcoming you today. And I think it's really thanks to the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation and the National Research Foundation that supported me and many, many other students in South Africa on our own journeys that have led to where we are now. Today we celebrate the opening of the South African Astronomical Observatory's Visitor Centre and our Remote Operations Centre. And I hope you had a little viewing of those two earlier today. And these have been major collective efforts to put together from the early conception, the ideas, to finding the money to do it, building it, designing it, all of those contributions. And I'd like to thank everyone who was involved. I'd particularly like to thank the sponsors, the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation, the Department of Tourism, the National Research Foundation and SALT, who contributed funding towards the Visitor Centre. Today we've launched phase 1, and with the generous support of our sponsors, we will continue developing the Visitor Centre to make it even more accessible and exciting for the public. But already in the last few months, we've seen more than 5,000 visitors pass through its doors, and there's a huge interest from the public in what we do. So we would like to be able to share the science that we do here at SAAO with everybody and use the Visitor Centre as a gateway to places that are darker than Cape Town, that have the beautiful night sky, like where our telescopes are in the Northern Cape. So if we can go to the next slide, I would like to give you an overview of what we do here at SAAO and how we explore the universe for the benefit of society. We are a national facility of the National Research Foundation, and we have our headquarters based here and our telescopes based near Sutherland in the Karoo. We have a proud history of more than 200 years of astronomy, and the distance to a nearby star was measured here for the very first time in the 1830s. But despite these achievements already 200 years ago, things have progressed incredibly in astronomy. And today, South African Astronomical Observatory astronomers and scientists are still at the forefront of international astronomy.
Sutherland is home, next slide please. Sutherland's home to about 24 telescopes, including our flagship facility SALT, which is the largest telescope in the Southern Hemisphere. And this year, as was mentioned already, SALT celebrates 20 years since it was inaugurated. And in this time, it's really demonstrated to the world that it's possible to produce excellent science at good value, so very cost effectively. And there have been more than 580 scientific papers produced by SALT, with a record number produced just in the last year. SALT has 7 international partners, and many of the other telescopes based in Sutherland are also international partnerships. So this collaboration with other countries is really what drives astronomy forward. So some of the other more recent additions to the plateau in Sutherland include a telescope called Meerlicht, which traces where the Meerkat radio telescope points. A smaller telescope called Atlas, which searches for asteroids and comets going across the sky. And the one we launched in January this year, the Prime Near-Infrared Telescope, which its main aim is to search for planets around other stars. So there's a lot of exciting science that comes with these telescopes. But alongside the excellent science, what we really aim to do is train up the next generation of scientists and engineers. So SAAO is a research institute as well as operating the telescopes, and we produce more than 120 publications every year in the scientific field of astronomy. We're part of major international projects like the Legacy Survey of Space and Time, LSST, which is going to make the world's biggest movie of the night sky over the next 10 years. And these projects enable students, usually about 25 to 30 students based here at SAAO every year, to get a taste of research at the forefront of international astronomy. And the skills that they learn include big data analysis and really transferable skills such as coding, and that can be used in many other industries. And so we feel that this training equips students to really contribute to the South African economy. And I hope that the learners here will feel inspired to continue with physics and mathematics and take on some of these subjects in the future. So over the past 20 years, the SAAO has played a very key role in the National Astrophysics and Space Science Program, which is a training program for honors and masters, which has graduated more than 700 students. And this is something that we would really like to continue doing and extend into a PhD. Throughout what we do, we strive to keep the public involved and keep the public in mind and share what we do with the public. And we would like to keep bringing young people like you to our facility and share what we do together. So Sibuyile, who will talk after me, will share more about our SALT Collateral Benefits Program, which really tries to make a concrete impact on the lives of people, not only in the region of Sutherland, but across South Africa through education and other initiatives. We're also the host here of the Office of Astronomy for Development. So you can go to the next slide. And this program looks at how we can use astronomy to make the world a better place. And you might not think of some of the projects they have come up with offhand. Some things like astronomy for mental health, how people feel when they stare up at a beautiful sky. And using the tools that we develop in astronomy, the coding and other techniques to contribute to societal problems, solving societal problems. Next slide, please. So today's world is a very, very different one to the way it was about 200 years ago when that first measurement was made here. And even before that, when our ancestors were using the night sky to guide them. The instruments we use here on our telescopes require very high precision design, and manufacturing also needs to be very precise. And so this is a capability that we've built up at SAAO, which allows us to innovate the new technologies needed not only for astronomy and for the telescopes, but in other areas of research, for other scientific facilities, and in other spin-off areas. So the parts that we produce here at SAAO also contribute to Itemba Labs' nuclear medicine program fighting against cancer, and the receivers that will be used on the Square Kilometre Array, which is the biggest scientific project on the planet. The Remote Operations Center that we launched today enables us to access our telescopes not only from Sutherland, but from here in Cape Town. And this is part of our Intelligent Observatory project to modernize the way we do astronomy and to use new technologies, particularly digital technologies like machine learning and artificial intelligence, to respond cleverly and automatically to alerts that are being triggered from telescopes around the world. So we'll be able to really be at the forefront of what we call transient response, the response to things that are changing in the night sky. So through all of these projects, collaboration is really key, whether it's the Innovation Hub and the technology development, the Intelligent Observatory, the Visitor Center, the Remote Operations Center. These projects all draw people from different spheres together. And here today, particularly, we've seen how tourism, the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation, education with our learners, all of these fields have come together in this celebration. So I'd like to thank you, Minister Nzimande, for your support throughout this process and for the funding, enabling us to bring the public into what we do. And I hope that you will all enjoy the rest of the afternoon and come and visit us in Sutherland as well, where you can enjoy the dark night sky. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. So, Minister, I think one aspect of what she was saying, which is quite heartwarming, is the number of scientists and engineers who have been produced here, almost 700 astrophysicists. So for learners who are present here, I'm sure some of you will join the program. So let me invite Mr. Mangoi to talk about SALT Collateral Benefits Program.
I'd like to, first acknowledge the minister, the deputy minister, and I'm fortunate because the CEO of the NRF had already spoken, and my immediate manager, Dr. Ross Scotland, has already spoken and has welcomed everyone. I'll just like to make it easy and say, all protocol observed. Thank you so much. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the organizers of this event for giving me an opportunity to share the beautiful story of the Southern African Large Telescope and its impact in South Africa and in the world. I think the story of SALT is a story about technological innovation, about research excellence, and about socio-economic impact, right? Next slide. Okay, I can just speak. So SALT was conceived during the transition from the old apartheid to the new democratic society, right? And there are lots of questions that were raised about the construction of the telescope because so much funds were allocated to this telescope. But I'm so proud today to be associated with this telescope because it has delivered on its objectives and it continues to do so, both in terms of research, in terms of technology, and in terms of socio-economic impact and educational impact, right? Before, next slide, before SALT, next slide, before SALT was built, next slide please, yeah. Before SALT was built, Sutherland was known to be an agricultural town, a quiet town, and visited by less than 200 people a year, right? The construction of SALT was a watershed moment. It was an epoch-making moment because we talk about pre-SALT and post-SALT periods now. So when SALT was constructed in Sutherland, it transformed the town. It transformed it from purely an agricultural town into a tourist destination, and therefore creating economic impact. So before SALT was created, there were only 2 guest houses in Sutherland, and only 200 people visited Sutherland. The highest number was 200, all right? But after SALT was constructed and was operating, we have seen the number of visitors rising, and we are receiving about 12,000 people on average per year. This has led now to development of guest houses in Sutherland. There are about 40 guest houses there, and there are 18 guest farms. What does this mean to society? Jobs for the people. People have been employed in Sutherland. Remember, I started with what? With science, with the telescope, but it has generated socio-economic impact, right? Apart from that, we have seen other businesses being opened in Sutherland, right? The Sutherland Hotel has been reopened. We've got the Sutherland Planetarium and many others. So it shows you the connection between science and technology and society. Okay, next slide. Apart from this, the South African Astronomical Observatory, which is a business unit of the NRF, has been given an opportunity to intervene in the communities in Sutherland, right? There was an old building there that was being used by unemployed people. We have turned this building into a community center. And thanks to the Department of Science, Technology, and Innovation, we have new computers in that community center. And this is being used by members of the community to search for opportunities. This is being used by learners when they want to do their projects. This is used by unemployed youth, to seek for job opportunities, and also for business purposes, right? Apart from that, the community center has got cubicles, 100 cubicles. Okay, there are lots of challenges from our past. Many families in Sutherland live in small houses and they are overcrowded. So these cubicles create space for learners to be able to do their schoolwork, and there's toys for children in the community center. Next slide. Okay, the SAAO, because the NRF, National Research Foundation, cares. We're talking about research for better society. Not research for research sake, research for better society. We care. The SAAO has undertaken a number of projects in the community. I'd like to take this opportunity here to acknowledge and thank the SAAO staff for all the donations that they have given to the community of Sutherland. There's clothing, there's school uniforms, there's blankets, there's food donations. I can count a number of interventions that the SAAO has embarked on in order to alleviate starvation, to alleviate poverty in that community. Talking about social interventions. Next slide. Apart from this, we are involved with the schools in Sutherland. There's 2 schools in Sutherland, a high school and a primary school, right? So thanks to the board of the Southern African Large Telescope, in order to improve and to support the teaching of mathematics and science at the schools in Sutherland, SAAO board has allowed us to employ a teacher. So this teacher is based at the school and is able to support the teaching of maths and science. We'd like one day to see an astronomer working at the SAAO, but coming from the community of Sutherland. We want to see an engineer working at SAAO or even a SAAO or any company, but coming from that town of Sutherland. This is what we are striving to have, okay? So we have done a number of things. I'd like to take this opportunity again to thank DSTI for the mobile labs that they have provided to the schools in Sutherland, all right? I'd like to thank the NRF corporate for transforming the school, the lab there, supporting the apparatus for the laboratory. These are helpful in ensuring that our learners have a better future in Sutherland. Okay, thank you. Next slide. Apart from that, we are not only focused on Sutherland. We are a national facility as SAAO, and we're part of the NRF, right? So we do a number of activities across the country, okay? And this is geared towards, realizing that goal of a scientific, literate public, and a public that engages with science. We don't want people to just accept things. We want people to question. So we do a number of activities geared towards that goal. And firstly, I'd like to highlight that we work with the teachers. We work with the teachers. So we've done a number of teacher training workshops. And in the last 7 years, we have reached more than 8,500 teachers through different teacher training and support development workshops. Okay, I'm just showing another slide. Next slide. Like I said, that we're a national facility. We go to different areas. I'm showing a slide where we're in Mpumalanga towards the border of Swaziland. So we do different activities with the teachers across the country. Next slide. So our activities are first and foremost supporting the teaching and learning of astronomy, right? And we're using astronomy as a platform, a vehicle for the teaching of maths and science. Astronomy allows us to use create examples for learners to see the principles and applications of what they learn at school. So the number of projects that we have done, we've worked with the all the provincial departments of education, we have worked with the science centers, we have worked with the universities, particularly University of Cape Town and University of Limpopo. We've done a number of projects to support the teachers for them being able to teach mathematics and science at school. Next slide. Apart from working with the teachers, we do a number of projects with the learners, right? We are guided by the National Science Engagement Strategy. So there's various projects that we are implementing across the country. But I'd like to highlight some of the projects, instead of going. So projects are based on curriculum. Some are core curricular activities, but others are extracurricular. They go beyond what is being taught at the school. So I'd like to just highlight two of the projects, like the astronomy quiz, which is focused on the grade 7 learners, right, which they compete. This is coordinated by our sister organization, SASTA, right? And I'm very proud to say, even at the South African Astronomical Observatory, I discovered that one of the students, a PhD candidate that's based at the SAAO, is one of the learners that was inspired by a project that was implemented, which is called Astronomy Quiz, right? So our projects are delivering. They do have impact. And the other project that I like to highlight is the Job Shadow Program, okay? So during September and the June holidays, we allow learners to visit the SAAO. Those who are interested in astronomy, in engineering, in IT, and different science-related fields. And we have seen with this project that we have had 274 learners participating in this project, and 84 of them are doing science degrees, whether it's astrophysics, whether it's physics, applied maths, or engineering. And the rest of them are doing law and education. We are proud that they are there because the country does not only need scientists, we need people living in other fields. Next slide. Okay, we do projects also with the girls, on careers. So we involve in different aspects. Next slide. We do science communication. We are there to promote careers at science festival. We are there to inspire people to look at the sky, to engage with science as festival through science shows. Next slide. Next slide. It's just an example of, yeah. Apart from that, the observatory has produced a number of documentaries which are freely available on our website. And I'd like to highlight one which is called The Rising Star. This is about astronomy in South Africa. So you can download it from our website and learn more about astronomy in South Africa. Next slide, last slide. Okay. Okay, lastly, colleagues, I mean, South Africans and Africans in particular, we in general, we do have a relationship with the stars. We do have a relationship with stars even before the telescope. And we are promoting indigenous astronomy because it is within our roots. And people saw Dr. Gina here performing and showing examples of different stars that and how our culture uses stars. Okay. Last slide. Like I said, I'm showing a picture of young learners. In this slide, I chose this slide in purpose because we are trying to reach out to young learners, trying to get them as early as possible. You can see they are young, but they are playing with the telescope. They are looking at the telescope. They don't have any fear. And I'd like to encourage everyone here. Please do not ignore or neglect very young learners. Let us introduce science to them when they are young. The future belongs to them. Thank you.
I'm sure you can give him another round of applause. Eh? So, Minister, I must declare in the presence of the chairperson of the portfolio committee and her members that my executive has nothing to do with what has just been done here. You know, it's really the work of the NRF and SAAO to communicate in a way that is so accessible. How the investment, that's the modest investment that the South African government has made in this area of astronomy has produced. It's quite pleasing. The last time I visited Herman, I think more than 10 years ago, he is telling the truth. That was a ghost town. I had to drive from Cape Town because there were no places to sleep. We had an event with the former minister and colleagues. We either had to sleep at a school or you had to drive from Cape Town. So it's quite pleasing to hear some of the socio-economic benefits that have been derived as a consequence of investments. So we therefore encourage all of you to also find time to visit that place. So maybe in 50 years, we could have another science-based town established that side. So let's invite Dr. Monageng to take us through his journey in astronomy. Let's welcome him.
Thank you. Afternoon, everyone. Firstly, I want to thank the organizers for allowing me to be a part of this and for inviting me to talk mainly. They said I must talk mainly to the students, so the elders are going to have to bear with me. So yeah, as you heard, my name is Itumeleng Monageng, and I'm an astronomer and I hold a senior lecturer position at the University of Cape Town, jointly with the South African Astronomical Observatory. Next slide, please. So the beginning of my journey or my relationship with astronomy started somewhere in Joburg. So I was born in Joburg in a township called Dobsonville in Soweto. And the earliest memory that I have of my beginning of thinking about astronomy very seriously was there was a solar eclipse when I was about maybe 12 or 13. And I was lucky because at home, my parents bought the newspaper every day. And on that particular day, the newspaper covered this solar eclipse. So there was information about it in a way that a 12-year-old could understand. And the newspaper came with those free safety goggles to view the sun and the solar eclipse without damaging your eyes. And yeah, that was the beginning. So ever since then, I've been fascinated about the universe. So that was the spark or the trigger into getting me into astronomy. Next slide, please. So the person that noted my newly found interest was my older brother, who took me to the Wits Planetarium and then bought me this book called Tell Me What. I'll never forget this book. It's the first book I've ever owned. So yeah, as you can see, science is about asking questions, right, and then solving problems. So the book, has a question. The title of the book is a question, tell me what. And it had different sections covering chemistry, life sciences, the universe, and so on. So yeah, that was what, continued this love or this fascination with the night sky. Next slide, please. So I was happy to find out that this can be more than just a hobby, so I can pursue it as a career. At the time, UCT, University of Cape Town, was the only university in the country that offered astrophysics as I could take it on as an undergrad major. So I left Joburg, I came to UCT. So when I was in matric, when I was applying, that's how I got in. I did a major in physics and astrophysics. And I was lucky also the timing was perfect because this is when the early days of the Square Kilometer Array bursary program, and I was awarded a bursary to study. As we all know, university is expensive. So yeah, I was lucky to get funding to fund my studies. Next slide, please. And then following that, I joined the National Astrophysics and Space Science Program. So this is after undergrad. We heard about it from Ross. We celebrated the 20th anniversary of the program last year. I did my honors in 2011, and then I did the master's through NASP, and then I did a PhD. So it's quite a long journey, as you can see. I think it's about 11 or 12 years of university. So after matric, so university up until PhD. So you haven't started yet. Next slide, please. So after that, I did a short stint as a postdoc, where that's a picture of me there in Sutherland. Behind me is the Southern African Large Telescope. So I was lucky to be part of the SAAO team that did observations for an international community. And I continued with my research. So the research that's related to the research that I did for my PhD, which is on stars. So I'm interested in stars. So it turns out that, most of the stars that you see in the night sky are in pairs. So it's two stars that are going around each other. And some of them are so close together that they interact. And when they interact, they give off, fascinating and different types of radiation. So I use telescopes like the Southern African Large Telescope and other telescopes like the Meerkat radio telescope and international telescopes to try to understand how this interaction between these two stars actually happens. Next slide, please. And then currently, as I said in the beginning, I am a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Town, and I'm based over here as well. So sometimes I have to be at two places at once. And I'm still doing my research on X-ray binary stars, on, these pairs of stars that I spoke about that are interacting with each other. And, being a senior lecturer, I guess I also have to lecture. So these are pictures from a couple of the classes that I've lectured. On the left is the students operating the teaching telescope, which is somewhere here. The two dishes are somewhere here at SAAO, but you can operate them remotely. So they operate them from their classroom. And then on the right is the teaching telescope at UCT. We also have teaching telescopes over there that the students use as part of their curriculum. Next slide, please. And I'm also fortunate to supervise very smart postgraduate students as well. These are some of them. Kelebogile Khasialawe, who's just submitted a PhD thesis, so she should be getting a PhD soon. And the one in the middle, Kyle Solomons, he's been actually helping out here. He just finished his master's last year and started his PhD. And Andris Matiba, who's about to submit his master's, and he's going to start his PhD soon as well, and others as well that I haven't pictured. Next slide, please. So I just want to end it off by, I know in our curriculum, we are taught about the brilliant works of scientists, about, what they do. Scientists like the ones that are pictured over here, Albert Einstein, probably the most famous scientist. Niels Bohr, Eddington, Isaac Newton, Galileo, and so on. They've contributed in shaping our understanding of the universe to the point where, if somebody asks you to think about a scientist, this is probably the first face that comes to mind. But next slide, please. I just want to remind you that also scientists look like these, right? So these are the other faces of scientists, people that have contributed into advancing our knowledge of the universe, like Jocelyn Bell, who's pictured over there with the telescope that she used for a PhD to discover pulsars. So the reason why we know pulsars is because of her. And probably my favorite scientist, Subramanian Chandrasekhar, who went through a lot of adversity in his journey as a young scientist. But despite that, he advanced our knowledge of physics of how stars work. And Marie Curie, who helped us understand how radioactivity works. And some of the current scientists, Ross, the managing director of SAAO, who studies galaxies, and other ones here that are based in South Africa or were based at some point in South Africa. So hopefully this inspires you to also believe that you can be one day the face of a scientist. And I hope to see some of you in the near future at the university. Thanks.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you. Thank you very much, Doc. I'm also pleased with the last two slides showing the changing images of a scientist, because I'm sure youngsters, you could see how you can be super cool as a scientist, right? So you also saw some young girls who are doing PhD. It's cool to do science. So you don't have to look like us, Derek. Yeah, we didn't have that luxury. The people who were teaching us, and they really didn't look so super cool. So this is really amazing. But we are really proud, my brother, for what you have done and where you are at UCT. To be a senior lecturer at UCT in this field is no trivial matter, colleagues. So we hope to see you, we being mentioned as one of the Nobel laureates. I mean, that's also one of the dreams we're having. We need some Nobel laureates to emerge out of people attending. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now invite the Honorable Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, MP Shiviti, to extend the message of support. Thank you. Let's all come here.
Thank you, DG, Dr. Tsele, and greetings to the Honorable Minister, Professor Blade Nzimande, and the Deputy Minister, Honorable Gina, Dr. Gina, Gina. You'll forgive me, DM. The DM who is with me in the structure is Gina, so I'm always confusing your surname with hers. Yes. So greetings to the CEO of NRF and it's Dr. Dr. Noromond. I'm careful not to make mistakes with people's titles. It's very sensitive, if you know. And greetings to my chairs, the chairs of the entities and the CEOs present, and my colleagues, honorable members of the Portfolio Committee of Science, Technology and Innovation, the staff and DDGs from the department, all guests that are present, and the guests at the back with uniform. I want to be sure, Minister, that I'm talking to the right people. So we're going to do a little exercise with my people there with uniform, right? Are you here? Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. When I say we are the future, you say no one can stop us. I want to be sure that I'm talking to the future now. We are the future. We are the future. Yeah. Minister, already we understand that the future cannot be stopped. And the future is here, and the future will take over the astronomy world, and they will take over from yourselves, not from me. Me, I'm still part of them. Me and you are still together. We'll take over from the minister, right? Today we had a very, very nice session. Minister, for the first time in a long time, you will not hear people howling when there's a budget vote for science. And when I was conversing with one of the colleagues, they said maybe they don't know how to howl in science. Maybe there's no proper way of howling in science, you know. So that's why the budget vote was so peaceful and so orderly. Even my friend, Honorable Mjadu, was very peaceful. We are also glad, Minister, that we are part of the launch of South African Astronomical Observatory Visitor Center and the Remote Operation Center. And I'm saying this because we went for our oversight visit to Sutherland. We went there to see the beautiful work that is being done by the department, and we also observed the beautiful skies and we enjoyed ourselves a lot. So I wanted to come, Minister, to the point of Mr. Mangoi. When he said that he wished that in Sutherland they can be astronomers coming from there. You know, in my village, when the new principal was coming in, he came in and then he was introduced to the community. When he was introduced, he said, I will not leave this village up until and then he pointed a certain family, that family must have a grade 12. It's a high school principal. And there was no grade 12 learner in that family. So instead of producing a grade 12 learner from that family, he produced grade 12 learners from the village and the close by villages. And then he produced many learners who are all over the country and the world, including myself. So coming to Mr. Mangoi, what we want to see ourselves is that we do not only see astronomers being produced in Sutherland. We want to see astronomers being produced in Cape Town, being produced in Kwamashu, being produced in Mtititi village, being produced in Alexandra, being produced everywhere in the country. That is what we want to see, and that is what will make us to sleep well at night, knowing that we were part of this process wherein we have seen astronomers and scientists being built from all over the world. And we also would like to see amongst the future that is sitting there with uniform, we will want to see astronomers, scientists, and minister. What we're saying also is that we will want to see more of the outreach on science, so that science does not become something that is far from people. It must be very close to people. We've been saying that in the portfolio committee. And these young people uh, who are here, they must be a project of yourselves, CEO in NRF. don't just bring them here. Make sure that you see them through, assist them to learn more about science-related programs. And when they pass grade 12, they must also enroll in careers and in courses that has to do with science. In closing, in my message of support, Honorable Minister, you know that the Portfolio Committee has been supporting the department. Today, we supported, all of us, including my friend there, we supported that you must be given more budgets. We have supported that you must be given more budgets. There must be more budget so that we have more people enrolled in science, involved in science, and we have more active people that are participating in science. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chair. Yes, you are in trouble because as the Chair was talking about how you need to support, one of the participants was doing this. And she knows because I saw her. So you must stop, you know. So let me then invite DDG Shamila to speak on behalf of the Minister of Tourism.
Minister, DM, Chair of the PC, if I can follow Sibuyile's excellent example and say all protocol observed. And good afternoon, everyone. I have the enormous privilege to be standing here on behalf of the Department of Tourism and to carry a message about tourism and science. I think that scientists are cool, but honestly, I think tourists are cooler. It's my own bias. The theme really of my talk today is about relationships. So the tourism sector, in its final analysis, is about building relationships. We build relationships with visitors, domestic and international. And the reason we build those relationships with them is because we want them to come back, importantly, spend their money here. And grow our economy. So that is really the purpose of what we do. We do that by creating wonderful experiences. Because every tourist wants to be able to go home with a story, and a wonderful story that they can tell their family and friends, and they take home wonderful memories. Those memories and experiences bring them back. Tourists also want to do different things. So if they visited South Africa to see what we're famous for, which is the Kruger National Park, Table Mountain, our beaches, they do want to come back and experience something a little bit different. And so that's where our relationship with science actually begins. South Africa is a very special place, and whenever I'm on a stage, I feel so proudly South African. We have two sciences, Minister and DM. The one is our paleo sciences, the other one is astronomy. And both those sciences allow the world to understand deep time. So 2 weeks ago, Minister DeLille opened up the Khudumudumo Dinosaur Interpretation Center in Clarence. For the young people in the audience, what you need to know is that Jurassic Park, everybody knows about Jurassic Park? Jurassic Park is 66 million years old. Our super cool dinosaurs, the Paleo Big Five, are 200 million years old. The history of Earth and life is impossible to tell without telling the story of 300 million years of uninterrupted fossil record that is contained in South Africa. This is a very powerful thing because South Africa and Africa can justly claim to be both the cradle of humankind, but also, in our later records, the cradle of human civilization. And it's our scientists that allow us to be able to tell that story. Today, of course, we're celebrating the science of astronomy. Astronomy, and it's hard to understand, is millions of light years away. And so, this idea of deep time for us to be able to reflect what it means to be human, what it means to be able to leave a legacy, what are the stories we want to tell ourselves, and what are the stories we want people to tell about us, is really what the marriage between science and tourism is all about. So we are supremely proud to be a partner in the Astro-tourism strategy. It is a strategy that Minister Nzimande and Minister de Lille jointly launched and cabinet approved. The center that we are here to look at, the South African Astronomical Observatory Visitor Center, is one of the elements in our strategy that speaks to all three pillars. The pillars, of course, are about indigenous narratives. The second one is about infrastructure development. And the third is about the collaborative relationships. And this center tells that amazing story. We're also really excited to be a partner in this work because together with the visitor center that is here, we have another extraordinary visitor center up in the Kalahari National Park that tells the indigenous story of the San and how they've navigated the stars for centuries. So we are very proud to be able to diversify the tourism products. We are really proud to be able to showcase South African science and South African tourism. We can justly, as South Africans say, welcome home. And welcome home to the world, because this is really where the cradle of humankind commenced. This is where humanity started, and our scientists are able to help us to tell that particular story. So on that note, Minister and DM, I would like to say that we look forward as the Department of Tourism to continuing this wonderful relationship that we have with the Department of Science and Innovation, and by extension, the entities that you work with, and all of this for the purpose of serving South Africans. Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Shamila. By the way, Minister, we're trying to encourage youngsters to dream, not just about going to the sea, to see the sea in Durban, but also to start visiting the big places where they can do stargazing. So we are very grateful to the Department of Tourism. Let me invite Itemba Youth Choir and no Mama udokotela uGcina Mhlophe. Yeah. Manage a seven from yeah. And finance of listening. Like it is only yeah. Assisted by the church.
Thusu isitimela samalahle lasosoloza inqola yamasondo soto ibuye eMzantsi Afrika igudla izintaba igudla amawa iphethe abamhlophe nabamnyama iyapheka iyajulula uyathela wena usulapho lilizela mlilizeni lilizela ngane Afrika yasosoloza inqola yamasondo soto yasosoloza inqola yomzantsi Afrika yasosoloza inqola yomzantsi Afrika sosoloza baba. Nami bekade ixelwa mani nami bekade ixelwa mani ibhaliwe khona ezincwadini ma make sithabatha isixhobo zemfundo sinqele phezulu siqonde phambili Sithi vumani bo ingomso lethu vumani iqaqambile ndiqiniseke sithi vumani bo ngomso lethu vumani liqaqambile ndiqiniseke sithi vumani bo sithi vumani qaqambile ndiqiniseke sithi vumani bo sithi vumani andiqiniseke sithi vumani bo sithi vumani qaqambile andiqiniseke sithi vumani bo sithi vumani qaqambile andiqiniseke sithi vumani lopolusha siphisikot sithi vumani bo sithi vumani sithi vumani bo sithi vumani andiqiniseke sithi vumani bo sithi vumani qaqambile ndiqinisekile yeah senjenje thina senjenje kwaXhosa siyakhensa siyatyhuluba siyangqunga. This is how we do it. This is how we do it in Nzimande Africa. This thing called music is art. This thing called art is science. This thing that connects heart to heart, that is something that is part of our intangible heritage. Ithemba Youth Choir, niyavutha be. Shining sun. And you know for a fact that local is liquor around it. When you talk about that salt, that beautiful place in Sutherland, I kept on bugging people about my love for astronomy. They know what Gina is addicted to honey. We know that. Let's put it away. But what about astronomy? She's got this other love. Apart from preaching the gospel of literacy, I'm a missionary, you know. Everywhere I go, I bug young people to read and read and read and read. Because if you can't read, you can't study science. I'm so sorry about that. You've got to be able to read, to study anything at all. And as I keep on preaching the gospel of literacy, talking about my great-grandmother who couldn't read, who couldn't write. Her name was Nzimande. Can you believe it? Her name was Nzimande. She couldn't read, she couldn't write. But because I heard how she collected anything with words on it, I thought I can wake up the suitcase. There's not one school we've ever visited since the beginning of 2001 without donating books in her name. She's operating from beyond the grave. She's operating from beyond the grave. Now, when I found out about what you're doing here in Observatory, I said, Sivuyile, man. I want to bring other future lovers of astronomy with me. And so we came down and then we drove all the way to Sutherland. The disciples, there were 7 of us from KZN. They were not sure what I'm dragging them to do exactly in Sutherland. Advantage of being a grown-up. Mama. I took them to Sutherland. It was the most emotional time we had. And to listen to the people who shared all that information, to go into the big, big observatory. We even did the midnight stargazing. What an experience. Now I'm converting other people to go back on that trip. We're going to keep on going back to Sutherland. We've done workshops with the students in those schools that Sivuyile talked about. We've worked with those young people. And I'm amazed about how few people know that we in South Africa have got this resource in Sutherland. Let's talk about it. Stop telling bad news. There's a lot of good news that we can tell. Let's talk about those good news. So for me, when I discover something good, I gossip about it nonstop. I gossip about it nonstop. So I'm grateful to be here. But Minister, thank you for having me here. And I'd like him, when I'm saying for those who are currently disadvantaged, I will translate that. Our future is dazzlingly bright.
liqaqambile. That's how bright is our future. And the VIPs at the back there, they are the ones who are going to make it even brighter. Those are the VIPs that I believe in. Those are the VIPs I believe in. Kwesukela. Ngithe kwesukela. Wakhona umfana igama lakhe kunguThemba. uThemba wayehlala phezulu endaweni okuthiwa isemoyeni, up on a hill. And when you saw the sunrise from emoyeni, it ought to make you proud. You feel like, what a place for my ancestors to choose for me to call home. Themba would go down to the river then to also play with clay. He could make clay oxen. He could make anything with clay. He was quite an arts man. He could do anything. And then he would take clay pots made with his own two hands and put them there, let them dry, and put some water. And then squeeze old flowers, berries, and rub some stones and make the yellows, the burgundies, the reds, the black, the gray, any color you can think of, he could make it. And they would take sticks and crush them until they were like brushes. And then he would take the inside of a bark of a tree and start painting. He would make portraits of his friends. I'm going to make a portrait of you. Look at that smile. Who wouldn't like a... Oh, please, making a portrait of that friend. When he was done, he handed it over. Everybody was shocked. Did he do it? It was like magic. And then he would take another friend. He would make a portrait of another friend and give it. Everybody was amazed by this young man, how he had this skill, he had this eye, and he would choose the colors. He would make it almost look like a photograph. What a gift he had. But he did not see that as important. He thought he was doing it in the meantime. His biggest wish was to be the best hunter ever seen in the village of Emoyeni. So all the hunters that were respected far and wide, they came from Emoyeni. He waited until maybe he was 10, he would be a bit bigger, maybe 13, a bit bigger, but Themba remained short and small. By the time he was 14, 15, his friends were laughing at him. You can't be a hunter. Go play with girls. He was so upset one day. He went straight to his father. Baba, what is wrong with me? Why can't I get to be tall and strong? I want to be the most respected hunter in the village. And Baba said, am I tall? Am I very strong? No. I still wish to believe that you love and respect me. I do respect you, Baba, but he complained and complained, went down the hill, and he went up to the other hill, and he sat there feeling so sorry for himself, not understanding why can't he achieve his biggest dream. And as he sat there, he saw, because when you've got an eye for something, it never leaves you. The sun was going home. There is a time in my language when we say, Selibantu bahle, the time of the beautiful people. Even I am good looking at that hour. Themba was sitting there, and the beautiful golden light was making the grass as it moved in the breeze to look like a golden ocean. When he looked at the birds opening their wings, it looked like they caught some gold. When he looked at the water down at the river, look, there were hues of gold. He thought, oh, I wish I had something to paint with. So beautiful. But soon the sun went down, and then before you know it, the sunset colors were so beautiful. He thought, oh no, I wish I could paint that. That's amazing. Except he saw a big cloud coming towards him. It was a huge cloud coming lower and lower. He got scared. His heart beat so fast, he held onto the grass. And then he noticed there was an old man and a young woman on that cloud. White hair and white beard, coming towards him. And as they got closer and closer, they stopped in front of him. He was shaking like a leaf. And they said, do not be scared. Themba, you are amazing. You have got a gift. Use it. You are the hope of your people. Hope of my people. And then they took a skin of a wild animal. It was tanned and as soft as velvet. They handed it to him. They said, go on, paint the colors of the sunset as you saw them tonight. And Themba accepted. And as they receded, they were singing to him, when Themba unesiphiwo sisebenzise ulithemba lesizwe sakho. Themba, wena themba, unesiphiwo sisebenzise ulithemba lesizwe sakho. They went away and disappeared with the falling night. And he went back home. He tried the next day to paint the colors of the sunset. It looked like dishwashing water had been thrown onto the skin. He tried another one, until he thought maybe they came to the wrong village. Maybe they asked the wrong timber. It's okay. I'm not talented. Looks like I just believed. And so he went up on the hill the next afternoon and he wanted those people to come back and take the skin, take it to the right timber, to the right village. And as he sat up there, the colors of the sunset were exquisite, like nothing he could even imagine. He thought, there we go. Full mashed potatoes in my brain for sure. I should have brought my painting utensils. Why didn't I do that? And as he sat there, the cloud came back and they were holding big calabashes with sticks facing up like a bouquet of flowers. Each one of them had rich, wet paint ready to be used, and they gave it to him. Timber, go on, paint the colors of the sunset before they disappear. And so he accepted, put them down. He was working so fast like a madman. When he was done, he watched them receding. Wena themba unesiphiwo sisebenzise ulithemba lesizwe. Ngiyabonga, ngiyabonga. They disappeared. And Temba went back home. When he got home, asked his mother to look at what he had done. Temba, akubonakali lutho ngani yami. Ayisehlwile. Try baba, look baba. Wengane awulale so ibuka ekuseni lento yakho. In the morning, when he woke up, he jumped like he was ejected from his bed and he showed them. Mama called the neighbors. And more people, mothers, fathers, neighbors, they were coming to Temba's house until the chief followed. And they went to Temba's house. When they got there, they saw the work he was doing and they praised him. Somebody said, yes, it's like this young man took a bush knife and sliced the evening sky last night and put it on this leather. It's just amazing. We've never seen anything like this before. And the chief of the village said, make a portrait of me. And so he got to work. And the next old man and the next grandmother, and so he was painting day and night until the chief said, okay, bamba khona lapho. We need now all the historians to come to this young man to tell him the stories of our people. Who's doing what with gold? Who's doing what with iron ore? Who's doing what with pottery? All the work that our people have been doing for generations, they must come, the elders, and tell him. And he was painting and painting. The hunters came to Temba's house and he was painting and making all of these stories until the chief asked them to make a big rondavel, and he hung all those skins on the walls. People came from far and wide to the village of Emoyeni to meet the young man who was short and small, whose talent was massive, whose vision was out of this world. And as Temba sat every evening and looked at the stars, and he thought, looks like they are applauding me. Looks like my ancestors are looking at me, looking at all the history, everything we have achieved as a nation and other nations. Let's watch those stars and feel how honorable we are. And feel how we deserve to tell our stories, because if we do not tell our stories, they will perish like dew under the sun. Please make sure that the work that is done in this place, this science and innovation, let these stories be told. Let our young people be inspired. Let everybody who supports this work be like that old man and his daughter who say, "Makwenze kokuhle, makwande, makwande." Let the good deeds multiply. Makwande, makwande. Let the good deeds multiply. Makwande, makwande. Let the good deeds multiply. Makwande, makwande, makwande. Siyabonga.
Thank you very much, Siyabonga Zindela. Let's give you another round of applause, colleagues. Maybe for people who may not understand what was just happening, this is exactly when they refer to STEAM. That's we're no longer talking about STEM. It's STEAM. You add arts. That's exactly what we have just observed. It's a manifestation. So I've said to Buhle and the team, stop using STEM. The world has shifted, has moved. And this is a clear illustration. Thank you very much. It's a powerful way of communicating, but also promoting science, technology, arts, and engineering in integrated fashion. May I now invite all of us to give the minister a very warm welcome as he's going to be talking to us. Please, Minister, over to you.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Myself. Program Director, Dr. Cele, our Director General of the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation, our Deputy Minister, Honorable Nomalungelo Gina. Let me also greet Ms. Chiviti, the chairperson of our portfolio committee, and all the honorable members who are sitting in front here, members of the portfolio committee. Thank you very much for being here. You pay a price. There is no free performance in front of you as honorable members. There is no free invitation. It means you treat us with kindness in the portfolio committee. No tough, no rough questions. Otherwise, never again would we invite members. But on a serious note, I'm very pleased that you are here. Our DDGs who are here, chairpersons and CEOs of our entities, officials of my department, ngibingelele noMam Gina Mhlophe, our national storyteller. You are amazing. Amazing. Your performance is just out of this world. Thank you very much for that. Indeed, you are right. There is a very close relationship between science and arts. That's how our department, when it was founded, it was the Department of Arts, Culture, Science and Technology. TAX. That's what it was. Let me greet our special guests, the learners from our various schools, all of you. And the parents and principals who are here. Now, we invited schools from around here. I think I've left my paper there. So we invited schools from around here. And I want to say to you, thanks for coming, and you are most welcome here. I hope you are enjoying the day. But we also invited schools from outside here, from afar. But these are schools I personally invited for certain reasons. These schools are the Anton Lembede Mathematics, Sciences and Technology Academy from Durban. It's an amazing school that I visited not so long ago Much as I would like to adopt all the schools, I decided I'm going to adopt this Anton Lembede school. Because of the work, it's a dedicated science and technology school. I'm very pleased now, Principal Usbaya, that you are here. I'm also deployed by the president in a place called Bulwa in KZN, where I'm working as a local champion. So I decided then to invite the first high school that I visited there, which is Langani High School. And they are here as well. I want to specially welcome you, as well as the principal. Then I thought, I've always done this. Excuse me if I take a bit of time, Dos. I've always done this, that I'm where I am and I'm who I am because of the schools that I went through. So I've invited my own primary school where I did the old Standard 3, Standard 4, Standard 5, Standard 6 in 1970, Mtetomusha High School. And then I went to a high school called Georgetown High School. To this day, I don't know why it was called Georgetown. It was named after some George, I suppose. But they are also here together with the principal. Then, Sinonkoskas, we have a foundation. It's a poor person's foundation because we go begging. Unlike the rich people who simply take from the monies they have, they put into the foundation, we go begging from people who have got money. And we adopted an interesting school in Howick called Crystal Springs. This school is one of the poorest schools I had ever seen. It's mainly children of retrenched farm workers. The farms that had actually retrenched in the Midlands. But it's located exactly between the two most expensive schools in South Africa, which is Hilton College and Michael House. Those are the two most expensive schools in South Africa. It's located in between there. I'm glad, Bantabami, all of you, no principal, that you actually came here. It's part of my history, Geshantu. Ningabe senithi ngisebenzisa imali kahulumeni ukulanda izingane zasesikoleni engangifunda kuzona. I won't apologize. I say it's worth it to bring a child who's first time flying and whose parents are retrenched farm workers. You can't go lower than that in terms of not your dignity, but the kind of circumstances that you actually come from. Now, let me also thank everyone for making the time to attend this event. I'm particularly excited about our learners who are here today, all of you. I'm very proud of you. I proudly now say to people, my constituency now are school learners as Minister of Science. And I want you to take right from ECD through to lower primary, higher primary, secondary, and high school, and convince you to discover your talent, that actually you are possibly a scientist. So all those who have been saying you are special, you are here, they are right. Now, I should have greeted, I made a mistake, the CEO of NRF, Ngiyaxolisa CEO, and Professor Skelton. Ukuthi manje uma kukhona abaphathi bami laba bepolitiki manje, hayi uvela ucabange bona bodwa uthi hey Nkosi yami, ucabange imicibisholo le ifike manje uze ukhohlwe nabantu abaningi bomcimbi. You are the owners of this function. You are doing great. You're really doing great. This observatory and what we're opening today is particularly special. You are lucky as learners that we've come to such a place and begin to see what the world out there is like from the standpoint of scientists and from the standpoint of astronomy. Now, it is these investments that makes it possible for our country to earn the privilege of co-hosting one of the biggest scientific projects of our time, the Square Kilometer Array. It's because of this work that actually laid the foundation. This magnificent facility that is hosting us today, the South African Astronomy Observatory, is another example of our investment in astronomy infrastructure as the Department of Science, Technology, and Innovation. As you may have already heard, this facility is one of our country's premier and oldest astronomy facilities, and it is now also a heritage site. It also has a strong outreach and educational component, and so it is the perfect venue to host an occasion of this nature. Thank you very much, Professor Nzimande and Professor Skelton, for making this facility available as part of our budget vote debate in Parliament. I'm very impressed about your focus on outreach, especially in science engagement programs, with schools and learners from disadvantaged communities. Equally impressive is the high volume of visitors that come to this facility. This component of your work is particularly important because historically, some of the sections of our society were prevented by law from studying science. People today, when we say we need laws to correct the injustices of the past, they say we are reinventing apartheid. Yet colonialism and apartheid did not discriminate and oppress the majority of the people by mistake. They did that through the law. So you can't reverse the impacts of the law without the law. That's why we need legislation to be able to correct the imbalances of the past. And this government is totally unapologetic about that. Ke musukuyiphatha ngathi useParliament. Asifuni manje wesiqala sijikijelana phambi kwey'ngane wemtshato. Awuyiphathe kahle ngane yakwethu. Now, this facility enables us to facilitate access to science disciplines and careers for thousands of children from all sections of our society. You know, I have no doubt, as researchers as well, you must follow on these youngsters who are here today. Check where they are 5 years from now. Check where they are 10 years from now, which means we must keep a record of each and every one of them and follow them up. I have no doubt that you will find some of them in science disciplines, astronomy and other science disciplines. I have no doubt about that. Now, the second thing I want to say is that astronomy is often perceived as an abstract discipline that has no tangible connection to the day-to-day needs of our people. Nzimande, why are you studying the stars? By the way, I like the story of a journey of astronomy. I wish I could tell my own story like that. It was told so nicely. Of course, in our days, we felt, and truly speaking, by the way, that was oppressive. To be asked to write a story on a journey by train when we have never been in a train, it requires the most of imaginative thinking, about that. But now it shows you have gone through this journey of astronomy. That's why we are telling it so easy and so nicely. So please, othisha banamhlanje, don't ask me to talk about, write an essay about my dog when I don't own a dog. Because you are asking me to lie, actually. No matter how good it is. Ask us about things that we've done. And of course, creativity and imagination is important, I'm not saying. But it's got a limit. When we've really never even seen a train in the rural areas, and you have to write about a journey by train, that was going a bit too far. Now, astronomy has changed our world. That's the story that I would like to touch on. There would today be no accurate timekeeping without astronomy. Absolutely not. We take it for granted that the time now is 4:30. Everybody who is in our time zone is 4:30. We take that for granted. Without astronomy, we would not be having that. The position of the Earth and the stars in the sky holds a very integral part in timekeeping. The invention of the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is a direct byproduct of astronomy. Can you imagine us without Wi-Fi? Then you say, well, Nzimande, we have no schools, we have no houses. Yes, of course, that's a challenge as government we must address. But can you imagine now, today, a world without the Wi-Fi? There you are. There you are. You know? And also, by the way, there would be no GPS directions without astronomy. Can you imagine? Now going without the voice of usually that lady. In 300 meters, 10 left. You know, take the first exit in the next roundabout. You turn right and the destination will be on your right. Well, I don't normally turn right because when you turn right, you normally get lost. It's when you turn left when you actually find your way and where you are going to. Healthcare, what we call medical imaging. Today, that is illustrated by the MRI scan. The MRI scan is as a direct result of studies in astronomy that we are able to do precision in terms of scanning and the details and all that. Communication, satellite technologies, radio astronomy telescopes, that's what provide reliable day-to-day communication services, including global connectivity and including mobile communication. Learners there at the back, do you know mobile communication? Do you? Your cell phones. You know them, isn't it? Yeah. How many of you have cell phones? Can I see? I know you can't show because maybe your teachers do not allow you to have cell phones. I know that a number of you have got cell phones. Education. Astronomy is one of the major contributors to education. It stimulates our curiosity. And as you will see with stargazing, it makes us to be excited. Now, it is for this reason that our mantra that we've adopted as the department is placing science, technology, and innovation at the center of government, education, industry, and society. Because we are a talented nation. We are a creative nation. There is a lot that we've done in South Africa, but including by my own department, including the NRF, including this place we are at, which is not widely known. So the challenge is to make these things widely known so that science is appreciated in society. That is something that is very important. So that we can go to young people and be able to tell them about science. But telling the story about science as a scientist, it means also you must speak simple language. You must speak science in simple language so that people will understand it. PGG, I think you gave a wonderful story of the relationship between science and tourism. Let's give a big round of applause for that. That's why we are working together. So, by having learners today, we are addressing the education and society dimension of our mantra. Umam Gcina is talking science with her storytelling. The choir that was here, that's part of art. You are right, TG. Because you can't talk science and also not talk art at the same time, because that's for us, and that's us as human beings. Now, given the scientific and historical value of this observatory, which is now a heritage site, our being here is also in line with our country's recently adopted Astro-tourism strategy. In fact, we want to make South Africa to be one of the science tourism capitals in the world because we've got so much. By the way, even in the arts, think about it. We have Amapiano. Amapiano is now a worldwide phenomenon. That's South African talent. It ranges from Amapiano to Ladysmith Black Mambazo to COVID-19 scientists who discovered the first variant of that virus. It was South Africa. I always tell people even things that seem simple today. The creepy crawly for swimming pools is a South African invention. So we are a talented nation. Facilities like these, it's very important that we open them up like we are doing today. Because our philosophy as the department is that we don't want to teach learners who are just consumers of knowledge, but we want to turn these learners into producers of knowledge. We mustn't talk about the fourth industrial revolution and say we must just gobble it up. We must also contribute to that. And we are, as I say, a talented nation. Ultimately, our goal is to boost scientific advancement and economic growth through sustainable and inclusive tourism. In conclusion, the two facilities we are launching here today are an important addition to our country's astronomy infrastructure. And as stated, they also serve to advance the objectives of our astro-tourism strategy, amongst others. Most importantly, these two centers are part of the implementation of our mantra. Don't forget that, Professor Skelton. They are part of implementing our mantra of placing science, technology, innovation at the center of government, education, industry, and society. Therefore, this center must help to produce astronomers and other variety of scientists. I agree from such communities as Enyanga, eGugulethu, Elanga, eKhayelitsha, Mitchell's Plain, Grassy Park, Hanover Park, and many such areas that we have throughout the country. Congratulations to the NRF and to SAAO for the work that you are actually doing. I really wish then, having thanked the young ones, I wish to thank all of you for having taken time to be with us. And this is part of celebrating our budget vote speech. You know how nice me and DM knows, and the chair and members of parliament, how nice to finish the budget vote debate. It's like Christmas Day. So unless there were some amongst our colleagues who were still wanting to give us a hard time for the whole day. It's done now. Enjoy yourselves, enjoy astronomy, and continue to represent the people of our country. I thank you very much.
Okay. So let us give the minister another round of applause for such an excellent presentation. Thank you. May I'm going to invite, well, I'll call names of learners who will come here and receive some special gifts from the minister. So their principals or teachers, whoever accompanying them, may also join them. Let's start with Uyanga Ngaka. So what the when we just put them here, okay, so if I stay. Okay, so Minister, may I invite you and the panel on stage? So let me first show you. This is what they are receiving. It's a calculator, right? Yeah. And a bag for record purpose, right? But it's quite sophisticated calculating. Yes. So let me also request uSomila Ngapai. Ageze uvuyo lwethu Ciko Bengesi simthandile. Minya Simanye Ulihle Ncikwe Inam Quluwana Anam Zimela Athandwa Mpilo Ulihle Tyala Uthanyaratswa Mzatsi. Yeah. Nika no minister abaningi. Siphele isithini mo? Yebo mina. Think you must. Can you face this file? So that's wow. And then you have only can you also use that slide? All right. Thank you. Right. Shake, guys. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, so may I then invite the following schools: Anton Lembete, Dlangani High School, Georgetown, Mteto Musha, Crystal Springs. Please come forward.
And the principals.
And no teacher omkhulu, the principals. Okay.
Did you also repeat some of it?
Yeah, no, I'm here. That's why I'm here.
It's fine. That's fine.
I'm also on the web. Yeah, you can please. So, okay. Yeah, Minister, we are done. You may take your seat. Okay. Okay, so let me make sure that other learners they understand. So those who were called to come here are the top performers. But all of you, you are going to receive exactly the same gifts. The only difference, you are not in the pictures, but you are here. You are also a VVIP. So. Okay. So Professor Skelton, please come forward and offer the gifts to the ministers.
All right. We would like to just hand over a small token of appreciation to you for being here with us today, Minister Nzimande, and the other colleagues, but we'll start with you. Thank you so much.
Let's try now. The same. So this is the whole thing of this very good. But did you want to say? It's fine. Let's try it right there. Is it one? $4? We did one from it. What did you? You got it. Well, did you write? So, it's so fun. Yeah. Okay, so I need to invite the team. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Please let us just give ourselves some attention. It's the last item. May I invite the Deputy Minister, Dr. Nomalungelo Gina, to express the vote of thanks and close. Let's welcome.
Thank you very much, DG. And let me greet our minister. Or just allow me to write on the protocols that have been already established to save time, Minister. Mama Ugcina, when we're here, before I continue to greet and give the vote of thanks, when you were here doing your things, telling us the story, the way you did, everyone was glued on what you were saying. The house was so quiet, the hall. You made me think, and you made me think of a story that I once heard. Minister, we were told that in life, wherever you are, whether you're sleeping, you're walking, in whatever you do, you must know that right next to you, a person that is there is having your money. The only thing that you don't know is how and what is it that you can do to get that money that that person is having, that the money that that person is having. How can you get hold of that money? How can you make that person give your money that that person is holding for you? I hope, Bantabami, you're getting a lesson what I want to say to you. I want to tell you that in whatever you do, out of any situation, you can make a living out of it. Umam Gcina has gone places. Uyacula asixoxele inganekwane. We can sithule sibe glued and listen to her. Then we can pay millions and thousands of rands. Simnike sithi thank you, Mama Ugcina. It's because she said and said, what is it that God has given me? What is the talent? What are the skills that I have? And all of us seated here, God has given you something. You do have something that you can do. And for you, it's just to identify that and make a living out of it. And that is exactly what we are here for you to do, Badabami. You need to identify that. For me, is to give a vote of thanks. Thank you very much. The day was very exciting. The day was educative. The speakers that came here, I think they've ignited something, especially to our very important persons that are here. That is our school kids that are here. You know what? Was it Sivuyile? No, it wasn't. It was Itumeleng. When you said Itumeleng, something that sparked the interest in you was the day when you read that newspaper about the solar eclipse. Today, I can assure you, in 5-10 years to come, some of these learners will be saying, the day I was invited, in the event held by the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation, something came into my mind, and I'm what I am today because of that day. And that is the day that we are looking forward to. And Batabami, we are here to say the ground is fertile. There is so much that you can do. We are just opening up the opportunities, and we are saying there's so much that you can get out of life. Go and study, go and make sure that when we say the sky is the limit, we no more say that now. Today you are here, we are saying, look even up to the sky, look at those stars, but go, you can even go beyond that, because those skies are not the limit, but there's so much that we can do. We are here to say that to you. Thank you so much to the organizers for this. There are people also, as I'm thanking you all that we are here today on such a beautiful day, that I want to acknowledge, Minister, again. Here, we've got two principles that I want to mention. In the department, under the program that is led by UDDG Imran, they are working with schools. They are also developing that good connection with the schools, as to say, how do we build that pipeline working with the schools? They've created some of the innovation hubs. There is an innovation hub that has been created in the Eastern Cape at Umtata, at the schools, at the St. John's College. We have got Mr. Abraham, the principal from the school, St. John's, is Mr. Magaga, the principal of St. John's College, that is here, together with Mr. Abrahams from Umtata High School. In that innovation hub, we have connected 72 schools that are plugging into that hub. And as of now, currently, coding and robotics is being trained. They are training at that hub. And as the department, we are still saying, what more can we do? And such hubs, those are things that we are saying we need to replicate and see in each and every province and every district having such schools. Thank you very much to those principals that we are here. You can stand up or just wave. We are happy, and we are saying, go back and make sure that we work on such. Thank you very much for that. Again, my minister always talk about, he's very proud of the Indigenous Knowledge System, the IKS. And when he talks about that, most of the time, he never runs short of mentioning Izinyanga, as to say, as the department also, we work with Abalapi Bendabugo, because there's so much knowledge that they know. We're talking of what is it that you can do working with the Department of Health, developing our own indigenous knowledge when it comes to that. Even the stars form part of the indigenous knowledge systems that we work with. And here I'm proud to say, as the department, we even invited a representative coming from that sector. Babumsom, sinenyanga enkulu ekhona la. Angisho ukuthi asimthinti, kodwa uma ugula ungamthinta. Ukhona ubaba uMsomo oyimele inyanga ukuthi asho ukuthi siyi-science and technology kule department siyasebenzisana neyinyanga. Baba uMsomo, siyakwamukela, siyajabula ukuthi unathi namhlanje. Again, ngoba ngifuna ukubabonga laba bantu bami, whilst we are here, it's so nice. Ushilu Sivuyile, Ushilu Itumele, nginibabonile, they're so young. When we say we want to make sure that science, imfundo as such, but more specifically science, we're making science fun, we're making science cool. Thina sakhula kuthiwa abantu abenza science amanede abafaka iy'buko ey'nkulu ngisho ukugqoka abangagqoki, yayibona. Kodwa manje that thing is changing. Sebekhulu abantu abenza science. We're attracting abantu be-science, kubonakala ukuthi kuyaphilwa ka-science. Hence, I'm introducing again one of our special guests again, udade, ingane encane nje le, uBonisiwe Gumede. uBonisiwe, it's a young girl coming from the rural areas of our country. Right now, uBonisiwe Gumede Miss University on Technology. He has won competing with more than 53 on over 53 countries. La, they were expected to come up with AMA robotics, the robots. She's an educational robotics, and he uses all South African languages to support the AI, that is the artificial intelligence. If I can call Ubonisiwe, ngifuna ukunibonisa ukuthi really to be a scientist, to study, ufunde science, you can be cool, you can be fashionable. Stand up when you see us, come here, so that those youngsters can see what it's cool to be a scientist. There is Bonsiwe that I'm talking to you. Niyabona bantabami how cool she is. That's the level that we want you to reach. Thank you very much, Bonsiwe, that you are here. She's also one of the guests that we are having. Thank you very much, Makumete, that you are here. So this is one of the centers really where we are saying CEO, Babu Nelumondo, CEO again, or Professor Skelton, will be going all out, we'll be talking about this astronomical observatory and the visitor center that we have launched today. I know already you are being flooded with a lot of visitors, but all these people that are here are going to be your ambassadors who are going to be flooding this site so that people can know what science can do. We can bridge the gap between abantu and science, and we want to make sure that what Usvuyile was talking about is to say science can bridge the socio-economic gap that is there. Indeed, people understand that. So we're really thankful and we're excited that we have been here. Let's all go out starting from today. Let's make sure that education is fashionable, but science is even more fashionable. Thank you very much, Program Director.
No, thank you very much, DM. You have all been good participants and audience. But you know, the moment you hear this, the noises when the youngsters are starting to make it shows that we have taken long. And so, Mbele, please come quick, and make the announcements.
Thank you, DJ. In terms of how we are going to do the post-event cocktail, we have two venues. The first venue where the minister will be hosting will be the minister, the deputy minister, the advisor,